And hello, everyone. Welcome to my Friday's broadcast. Today is June the 20th, 2025, and my name is Crystal Myers-Barber. Today, I'm going to be covering the trip that our vice president made here in Los Angeles, and even the response that Mayor Bass has spoken about. Also, I want to make mention yesterday, on Thursday, there was a huge data breach. Another one. There was a huge one in May, but this one's, I guess it's a mother data breach because 16 billion people were affected, and it was Apple, Google, and Facebook that were affected. So you want to make sure to change all of your passwords and change them all right now. Anyway, please make sure to follow me over on my X account. My handle is promogirl07. I'm going to be turning my comments on. I would love for you to engage with me here. And yeah, thanks for tuning in. I am streaming live on Facebook, YouTube, and X. We've had quite a day. Let's get rocking. And before I get into, I'm going to show you JD Vance, just so you'll understand what happened. JD Vance came out to Los Angeles earlier today, and he stood behind Trump's military deployment, which has been thousands and thousands. It's been such a fight between the governor and President Trump. But President Trump is #winning. We are winning. And like I said on some other videos, it really feels like President Trump is president of my state for a change. Vance visited Los Angeles today to tour a multi-agency federal joint operations center and a federal mobile command center, and to also meet with Marines amid the Trump administration's continued and ramped up immigration enforcement operations in the area. So basically, I'll come back and talk about this a little more. Let's just hear straight up from our VP right now. I'm gonna show you a video, and then we'll go to questions that he took from the press.
And what should he be doing if he was protecting them?
Look, I would absolutely say that Gavin Newsom is endangering law enforcement. The law enforcement officials themselves tell me as much, that when they go out, let's say you have a Border Patrol official who needs to go out and arrest somebody, maybe a violent criminal who's also an illegal alien. When that Border Patrol agent goes out to do their job, they said within 15 minutes of them trying to do their job, they have protesters, sometimes violent protesters, who are in their face, obstructing them, preventing them from doing their job, and endangering their lives. Why do they have that? Because those people have been egged on by local officials. Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, by treating this city as a sanctuary city, have basically said that it is open season on federal law enforcement. They have treated Border Patrol and border enforcement as somehow an illegitimate force instead of what they are, which is the American people's law enforcement trying to enforce the American people's laws. So when Gavin Newsom encourages violence and rioting, when he encourages people to get in the face of our great Border Patrol officers, he is absolutely endangering the lives of federal enforcement. He's absolutely endangering the lives of mothers and daughters and fathers and sons who have been sent here to do a simple thing: enforce the law. And thank God they're willing to do it, despite the fact that the local leadership of this community has made it harder on them and has in fact endangered their lives as they go about to do their important work.
Your reaction to the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals, their decision yesterday? I just want to get your reaction to that.
Yeah, well, it's interesting that for the past couple of weeks, Gavin Newsom has said that there's an illegitimate effort to send federal resources to secure a city that he refuses to secure. And what the Ninth Circuit said yesterday is that that was a completely legitimate and proper use of federal law enforcement. The president has a very simple proposal to everybody in every city, every community, every town, whether big or small. If you enforce your own laws and if you protect federal law enforcement, we're not going to send in the National Guard because it's unnecessary. But if you let violent rioters burn great American cities to the ground, then of course we're going to send federal law enforcement in to protect the people the president was elected to protect. And I think what the Ninth Circuit said very clearly is that when the president makes a determination that you've got to send in certain federal officials to protect people, that determination was legitimate, and the president's going to do it again if he has to. But hopefully it won't be necessary. We don't want to send these great Marines to cities like Los Angeles. We only do it if we have to protect federal property and to protect the lives of our great law enforcement folks.
Protesters, some of them funded by Democratic groups who were releasing the addresses of ICE agents in hotels around here.
Well, you know, it just drives home. I was actually shocked to hear this, and I didn't realize this until I was in the command center earlier.
Just listen to this. I mean, the reporter just asked VP about how they're doxing these poor these ICE agents.
They're talking to some of these great officials that oftentimes you have far left agitators who are posting the names, the addresses, even the family members of some of our law enforcement in an effort to harass them, antagonize them, and even threaten their lives. And what do I take from that? What I take from that is that you have a very small group of people who are so against the idea of border enforcement that they're willing to threaten and endanger the lives of their fellow Americans who are enforcing the law. And something else I take from it is that Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass have got to stop this craziness. Every single law enforcement officer I talked to today, every single one of them said they feel like the local leadership, the mayor and the governor, are encouraging these far-left agitators. What is the justification for this? What is the reason for this? There is a broad bipartisan consensus that we ought to have border enforcement and we ought to enforce our nation's laws. So why do you have far-left agitators egged on by local officials who are encouraging these agitators to harass and to threaten our border patrol? You have it because of a lack of common.
I don't know why this stopped. That shouldn't have stopped.
sense. These people need to be stopped. These people need to be told that if you threaten a law enforcement officer, you're going to go to prison for it. And that's exactly what the Trump administration, that's the message that we're sending. But look, we could do so much better, and we could have such an easier pathway for these federal law enforcement officers if the local leadership wasn't egging this on. And I think that's the great tragedy. What I see here today is the great tragedy when a mayor and a governor encourages their citizens to harass and endanger the lives of our police officers and our law enforcement officers. It's heartbreaking to see, and thank God we've got great people who are willing to persevere despite it.
I mean, why would you even want to go into this field? I mean, the police officers and SB 54 cannot interact with the ICE agents. It's just really, it's such a hot mess. And the news is really playing this up. They actually they fabricated a story where they said where ICE showed up at a Dodger stadium yesterday, and this has become a headliner. And Kristi Noem, Secretary Kristi Noem has got, I will show you, we will go over to my X account and we will look together at how she said they didn't even go there. And they are taking this story. I got a notification today. They're really playing into this. So the news is really repeating false narratives, and just, that's why I want you to hear. I think this was 6 minutes long. We're going to hear everything that VP has to say, JD Vance.
Mr. Vice President, there's been back and forth about whether raids will be going on in agricultural businesses and restaurants. Could you tell us if that's going to continue or not?
Well, the president's made 2 points on this that I think are very worth emphasizing. Number one, if you are in this country illegally, you are at threat of deportation, because that's what it means to enforce the country's laws. If you've come here illegally, the policy of the Trump administration is that you shouldn't be here. You should go back and then come through proper channels if you so desire. But the president has also said that he wants to focus our critical and short supply law enforcement resources on going after the really bad guys, on the violent criminals, on the rapists, on the drug cartel members. We've still got a lot of those people in our country, and that's where the president wants to focus law enforcement resources, and that's what he'll continue to do.
Democrat lawmakers who keep getting handcuffed. The New York Times just did a story. They keep getting handcuffed, suggesting that the Trump administration is cracking down on Democrats. Can you comment on that?
Well, I was hoping Jose Padilla would be here to ask a question, but unfortunately, I guess he decided not to show up because there wasn't the theater. And that's all it is. You know, I think everybody realizes that's what this is. It's pure political theater. These guys show up. They want to be captured on camera doing something. They want to be able to go back to their far left groups and to say, look, me, I stood up against border enforcement. I stood up against Donald Trump, when all they're really standing up for is for drug cartels to run rampant over our country and sex traffickers to be able to continue to traffic little kids into our country. That's what you're doing when you stand against border enforcement. So I think these guys, we ought to laugh them out of the building.
I mean, so basically, JD Vance just put it so clearly. The ICE agents are going after these evil people, evil criminals. He just called it all out. So let's see. And he did a fair amount of calling out of Gavin Newsom, which we're going to go right over to next, because hopefully I have that small clip. So basically, Vance lambasted Governor Newsom and Mayor Karen Bass, accusing them of having actively encouraged illegal migration into this community, strained public services, and strained law enforcement. And he did say, what a great American city LA is, and what a great tragedy it is that we've allowed illegal immigration and rioting to destroy one of the great gems of the American family. I don't have this up right now, but I definitely have to share it. What these people are doing to ICE agents in the streets, and the ones that he's calling out right here too. They're being attacked with laser lights, fireworks in the face, rocks, bottles, frozen water balls. It's still going on. And so they're just bullying the ICE agents. And that's why President has released another 2,000 of the National Guard, that he's deployed another 2,000 in addition to the military, which is, I counted it up as around 1,300 military, but they keep that number hush hush, but I was kind of keeping up with everything. But anyway, JD Vance did arrive in Los Angeles today after 1:30 p.m. on the heels of a legal victory for President Donald Trump. An appeals court. I think this happened Wednesday because I broke the story a day early over all the news, but they're saying it happened yesterday, Thursday evening. They allowed the president to retain control of the California National Guard troops he had sent to the city in response to his administration's immigration enforcement efforts and subsequent protests over riots. And the reason President Trump sent all these out is because they are really destroying the city. They're attacking agents, and they are putting graffiti over everything. And there's picture. They actually put FUCK ICE on the windshields of their car with Palestinian flags flying. So there's lots of agendas going on. It's so deep. It's not just one country. So Trump, he is reacting to this, and so JD Vance just had a surprise visit. Basically, nobody was talking about it. He just, they announced it today. They found out today. I didn't even know about it. So he basically included, he met with several federal agencies, including Department of Defense, Immigration, Customs Enforcement, and the Department of Homeland Security, as well as LAPD and the California Highway Patrol. He was given a tour of the FBI Mobile Command Center and building, the FBI Los Angeles Assistant Director, according to reports. So let's see here. I want to show you, you have to see the questions. We're going to check that out right now.
Efforts, like, are non-criminals getting caught up in the dragnet as well?
No, look, I don't think that we've been too aggressive at all. I mean, first of all, anytime that a mistake has been made, we correct that mistake very quickly. But the unfortunate reality is that Joe Biden let in 15 to 20 million illegal aliens into this country, and there is no way for us to actually get those unlawful, illegal immigrants out of the United States of America without some serious law enforcement. And that's what we've been trying to do. It's not too aggressive. It's not, not aggressive enough. It's just the right approach to make sure that we're enforcing our country's border laws. We have to remember, 100,000 Americans die of fentanyl overdoses brought in by the Mexican drug cartels. We've got a terrible sex and human trafficking problem because of what these cartels are doing at the southern border. The president deserves great credit because after 45 days, you saw illegal border crossings draw to a small fraction. Illegal border crossings down over 99% under President Trump's leadership. But unfortunately, because Joe Biden was president for 4 years, we've got a lot of bad people in the United States of America that we've got to do the job of getting out of our country. That's what these guys are doing. We ought to support them, and we ought to have local leadership that empowers them to do their job of making Americans safer. Instead, Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, they've decided to go to war against the people trying to keep our communities safe. That's a disgrace. That's a terrible commentary on their qualities as leaders, but the Trump administration is going to keep on standing for the American citizens and for American law enforcement. Thank you all. Great to be here. And thank you to you guys.
Let's see here. And there's no sound. And then basically you just see him walk around. They're so thankful he's this is big. This is a big thing. This is really something we witnessed in our state. With the court, just the court in general, having ruled in our favor, having ruled in the favor of President Trump. Isn't that like amazing? I mean, that's like jaw dropping. Really, it is. And I think the danger here, and if anybody has been paying attention, you see what the propaganda that is being pushed and everything. And it's something. So I tell you what, I want to take us over. We are going to try to listen to some of what Mayor Bass said, because I haven't even seen this. So I kind of was curious. I have it all queued up and everything. I just want to see what she said. I probably won't take us through the whole thing. I might skip around and everything, but I want to see how political what she said to this, because he came straight up in her city and called them out big time. I mean, like not just a little bit, but I only showed you some of the speech, but he super duper called them out and told them they were terrible and they're not protecting the police and the ICE agents, and they were just pretty much taking up for criminals.
With the provocation from Washington that began 2 weeks ago, when our city was calm and millions of Angelenos were going about working and contributing to our city. The provocation has resulted in lives disrupted, terror and fear spread throughout our city. I spent the day today meeting with businesses. We met on Sunday, and businesses were empty, owners were suffering, and describing this situation as worse than COVID. Just think for a minute how profound that is.
And she is telling the truth. Everybody is damn terrified of these people that have come over to counter the ICE agents, okay? And you've seen it on video. I covered it. It started on the 6th, which was a Friday, 2 Fridays ago. And I covered it live, and we were all like, oh my God. So hell yes, people are not coming out, and they're afraid for a lot of different reasons. It's not just the fact that they're afraid of being deported. This is ridiculous.
Workers who are too afraid to come into work, and customers who feel they can't go outside their house.
Another thing,
I also met.
They're boarding up the businesses. I did also show this, and they're covering the glass because the stores are being looted, and the cops they're not coming to arrest the people that are looting. They're ruining businesses. They're just cleaning the house. I actually got a community violation on my TikTok account for sharing the Apple store being just looted, and I think it was a shoe place right next door. And it's just so many businesses that are just being robbed, and nobody's stopping these people. They're just doing what they want. She's leaving that out.
With mothers who do not know where their husbands are and their sons. They told me about their children who spent Father's Day wondering why their fathers did not come home. And I just want you to know that that's a trauma to a child that child will always carry with them. Unfortunately, the vice president did not take time to learn about our city and understand that our city is a city of immigrants from every country and continent on the planet. But then again, he did need to justify the hundreds of millions of wasted taxpayers' dollars that were wasted in the performance of a stunt and an experiment in this city, and using men and women of our armed services whose mission it is to protect our country. He accused state leaders and myself as mayor of this city of encouraging violence, of sicking mobs on ICE.
She really didn't stop it. She enforced a curfew. She waited a week, and the curfew was just for 1 mile radius. And then when things got really bad on the No King's Day last Saturday, they widened it a little bit. But she lifted the curfew, I think last Sunday.
ICE officers. But let me just tell you, like yesterday, what happened at the Dodgers, we're not sure who these armed men are.
Okay.
They show up without uniforms. They show up.
This is not true. This is so weird. I have to, we're going to have to come back because I have some other things kind of lined up for you, but this is not true. They did not show up at the Dodgers game. She's just saying this. Isn't it terrible?
Completely masked. They refuse to give ID. They're driving regular cars with tinted windows, and in some cases, out-of-state license plates. Who are these people? And
we don't know. Why do you think it's ICE? This is what I don't understand. Why are they thinking it's that? They're so paranoid. This is ridiculous.
Frankly, the vests that they have on look like they ordered them from Amazon.
They probably did.
Are they bounty hunters? Are they vigilantes? If they're federal officials, why is it that they do not identify themselves? What? You can imagine the fear and the terror that has created in our city.
This has gotten crazy. Now, you also know about the part of the story where all the rioters showed up and they were giving out those masks. Some of them refer to them as a bionic shields that you can buy. I think was it either Walmart or Amazon. I mean, I can't keep up. They were $60. I guess it came from Walmart, and then there's a big thing about that. But the fact that she is really taking this far and would go and blame the Dodgers situation, when the news has really piped it up. I mean, I got a notification about it today, and I was just like, I can't, this is weird. I might skip ahead because I don't want to hear about that. I'm gonna see if she gets out of that.
Curfew. Our streets have been peaceful, and even when there was vandalism at its height, you are talking about a couple of hundred people who were not necessarily associated with any of the peaceful protests. And for those of you who
they were not peaceful at all,
were watching outside of Los Angeles, I will say it over and over again. Los Angeles is a city that is 500 square miles. And any of the disruption that took place in about 2 square miles in our city. The most, over 100 people were arrested. We are a city of 3.8 million people. And finally, Mr. Vice President, how dare you disrespect our senator? You don't know his name, but yet you served with him before you were vice president, and you continue to serve with.
He called him Jose. I haven't dug into this. She basically is talking about JD Vance calling him instead of Alex Padilla. I think he said Jose.
Him today, because the last time I checked, the vice president of the United States is the president of the U.S. Senate. You serve with him today, and how dare you disrespect him and call him Jose? But I guess he just looked like anybody to you. Well, he's not just anybody to us. He is our senator. And you fly in, you parachute in the city. I don't know if you've ever been here before. You parachute in the city, you pass all kinds of judgment, and then you leave. And you add to the provocation, you add to the division, or you attempt to create division in our city. But I just want you to know that our city is standing together. We are united. You might attempt to create division, but you are united. Standing with me today are families business owners.
Okay, so she in some ways she got the last word, and she'll have her people listen to her, and they'll believe her, and she'll have her people talk, and all that same stuff that goes on. That is kind of a hot mess. Maybe I'll come back to some stuff on that one. Right now, I am not going to stay there. We're going to go to President Trump. Let's hear what he has to say today. He was caught on camera, and he was in, I think, Bedford, New Jersey. So let's go over there. I have this pulled up. Laura Loomer, who I love to follow. She's pretty much breaking a lot of news, and she broke this.
Skeptical of a Republican administration that attacked the Middle East country on the idea of questionable intelligence of weapons of mass destruction. How is this moment different with Iran?
Well, there were no weapons of mass destruction. I never thought there were. And that was somewhat pre-nuclear. There was a nuclear age, but nothing like it is today. And it looked like I'm right about the material that they've gathered already. It's a tremendous amount of material. And I think within a matter of weeks, or certainly within a matter of months, they're going to be able to have a nuclear weapon. We can't let that happen. I was very much opposed to Iraq. I said it loud and clear, but I was a civilian, but I guess I got a lot of publicity. But I was very much opposed to the Iraq war. And I actually did say, don't go in, don't go in, don't go in. But I said, if you're going to go in, keep the oil. But they didn't do that.
What intelligence do you have that Iran is building a nuclear weapon? Your intelligence community has said they have no evidence that they are at this point.
Well, then my intelligence community is wrong. Who in the intelligence community said that?
Your director of national intelligence, Tulsi Gabbard.
She's wrong.
Okay, so that's the only part that he said with Tulsi Gabbard that he's wrong, and a lot of speculations have come out of this with some things that I even posted. I try to post what I have researched and try to post the truth, but I don't know if he's really going to get rid of her. But I will say this: Laura Loomer is exposing Tulsi Gabbard today a lot. Go back, see what else.
Landing in Iran from China.
Oh, they say that they're there to take people out.
Okay, so that was that on that, and I was trying to go through here. I'm gonna go over to my profile because I share a lot, and I was gonna try to show you what Secretary Kristi Noem pretty much said, but Laura is getting into some stuff with Tulsi Gabbard and warning people days ago, and she's showing some person that Tulsi Gabbard is friends with, and so she's always getting some flack on whatever she's exposing, but she's been a very firm Trump supporter, and I adore her. But I did get this notification, and this came from ABC7 LA News, and they're talking about the Dodgers thing, and Dodgers announced the first step in helping immigrant families impacted by raids, and they just can't drop this. It's just not even real. But I want you to hear Kristi Noem, and she's saying 75% of the illegal alien arrests under the Trump administration have been charged with or convicted of a crime.
17 years old. Every day I get handed a list of the people that we've arrested in this country that are here illegally, that are criminals. And these are some of the worst of the worst. Here we have a Guatemalan we picked up today, aggravated assault against a police officer. This one, rape of a victim under age of 17 years old. This one robbed a disabled senior citizen. This individual, 12 different sex offenses against children. If you look at it, it's 2 counts of statutory rape of a child, 2 counts of indecent assault and battery. These guys are off the street today because of the work of our ICE enforcement officers, law enforcement across the country. Thank you for making America safe again, and thank you, President Donald J. Trump. Every day I get handed a list of the people that we've arrested in this country.
Basically, we just have the U.S. immigration. I really am happy I remembered to show you this. they are basically saying they were never there. False. We were never there. So this morning, ICE agents came to the Dodger Stadium. This is by the LA Dodgers. And they requested permission to access the parking lots. They were denied entry to the grounds by the organization. Tonight's game will be played as scheduled. And U.S. Immigration and Customs Enforcement, which is ICE, is basically saying it was not us. So I don't know who that was, but they really need to look at that. And they need to stop spreading this around because it's wrong. It's very wrong. Anyway, I've gone a little longer than I meant to. And I just wanted to show you the fight we have, the spiritual fight that we have on our grounds, and the way the government is handling here is just so weird. They can't admit when they're wrong. They're siding with people that are criminals. They see them being picked up and they got to know. And there's a lot of situations going on. People are hiding. I'm in Southern California. I live in Orange County. And in our county, we notice in our stores that there are not a lot of people out. And they're literally in hiding because of the fear mongering that's going around, the lies and the propaganda that the news is putting out. And so people are being told on TikTok that they're going to be ID'd in grocery stores and taken by ICE agents. I mean, this has gotten so insane. I wanted to wear this. I thought I could literally go outside or show up at a Home Depot and I could be in the news. I mean, I could get hurt just for wearing this hat, because people are really super paranoid, and they shouldn't be unless they're here illegally, or if they're a criminal. You know, they're coming for you. And there's a commercial. I played it yesterday, but I deleted my video. But I tell you, we were driving yesterday, and on the radio, I heard a commercial about, and this is on liberal stations, I couldn't believe it, in the afternoon, that Kristi Noem's voice came on, and she said they will be deporting everybody that's here that shouldn't be here. And they explained you need to self-deport, and if you get caught, you'll be charged $1,000 a day. And she explained all these instructions. I mean, these people are Homeland Security is serious, and they are running ads on the radio. And I was blown away, because I usually hear negative stuff about, president or whatever. And so I was like, wow, I couldn't believe it. I was like, things have gotten wild. So happy weekend, everyone. Please do keep my family in prayer. I did have an uncle that passed away earlier today. And just keep my family in prayer. They live in Virginia and North Carolina, and I would appreciate it so much. Life is moving fast, and we know that he is in heaven. I know that for sure, but it's still hard because my aunt was married to him for over 55 years. So anyway, God bless y'all. Have an incredible day, and God bless America. Thank you for watching, and make sure to share my video.